I think one thing we know for sure now, after this summer season, that the whole idea of actually doing any advertising whatsoever or any media campaign to promote Byron Bay is ludicrous. It doesn't matter. It wouldn't have any effect at all. It's redundant. It doesn't matter what image you send out there. You could have an elderly woman, overweight in a G-string, on a walking frame, frolicking in the surf, right? And it wouldn't matter. They'd still come. She's down there. And she's probably down there now. And that wouldn't matter because people don't come here because we send out key messages. They come out here because Byron's viral. It's become what it is. Sort of, I don't know, part nostalgia, part, I suppose, myth. It's one way now, it never used to be. Part, I don't know, the kind of utopia, the dream of that little bit of magic that's always been here and still is, really. Look at it, it's, even with full cranky bins, it's sensational. When I first moved here, I lived just over there. There was an apartment just there, right on the front, where I lived, for the first couple of years. It was amazing. Then people still came, for holidays and they stayed in their cars and went away, but, obviously not in the numbers now. I think so. And things change. It was 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago. And I sort of look back with a little bit of sadness as to what this place was like 20 years ago, which is only natural. Then I think about myself with a little bit of sadness about what I actually looked like 20 years ago. I looked a lot better as well. So maybe I need some infrastructure change. Change is inevitable. And I have to say, with all of this, I don't think any of us really are particularly anti-tourism. I'm certainly not anti-tourism. I can see the great benefit to the area. But what I can't understand is how all these huge numbers, not a park anywhere. Hello boys, how you going? Hello girls, how you going? It's quite spooky filming things with people watching. But with all these numbers, that there isn't more dollars coming back into infrastructure. Things like I don't know, emptying the bin more, better facilities in public parks. Toilets where you can actually go to the toilet and not have to go to a local pub for a wee, which is generally where you have to go to get a clean wee that's lit. We probably like things like, I don't know, social infrastructure as well as physical infrastructure, really all those sorts of things that we don't seem to have here. And not just within Byron, I'm talking about the Shire. Where is the boon for the whole area, the improvement to our public pools? Bangalow needs one, Mullum needs an improvement. Where's the flagged beaches in Ocean Shores and in Brighton Beach? Where's, New Brighton Beach is in England, so probably not a good one, but they're the kind of things, and I sort of think, as I sort of said on Facebook, and it kind of went off a little bit, but I think most people agree with the sentiment, and I understand the reason. But, at the end of the day, I don't think it's wrong with being a little bit outraged about what you see happen to a place that you love, that you see all this use of somewhere and this incredible huge amount of numbers, people coming through, using this place up, throwing bottles, not always, but, the sort of trash that happens, and what comes back, I suppose the thing is to come back to is how do you get the bucks? And there's big bucks, let me tell you. I mean, look at that. That's why they come, clearly. But it's not just that. Everywhere has a beach. I really believe it's the quality of, the belief of the magic of what Byron is. It's become like an Ibiza or, the kind of Kopang gang. It has its own, it's viral, it has its own little magic that people want they want a part of it. So it doesn't matter. I'd say stop advertising it. If you wanted to do something about New Year's Eve, or if you wanted to calm it down, I'd just say put on a classical musical festival on the beach for a couple, 2 weeks, or even just the night, and after a couple of years, you'd pretty well change the demographic. But right now, I'd say, I saw a graph of our tourism at the New South Wales Tourism Conference, presented by CEO of Destination New South Wales, Sandra Chipchase, and funny name, isn't it, Chipchase? I look like a woman that should be called Chipchase, like a seagull's name, but anyway. Sorry, Sandra. But all the other places in regional Australia, Newcastle, this is a little graph, like little tiny squatty little things, you know, the Coffs Harbour, that's their visitation. And suddenly Byron was like that, went off. I couldn't believe it. And you're sorry that no wonder we're in such a bad way. 1.8 million visitors a year. And what do we get back at the end besides, you know, sure, there's some stuff, but if we could get some $2 off them, imagine that, $2 off each of them. I don't know how you'd get it, like a door knock begging, or an e-toll, a bed tax, I don't know, a cafe tax, a coffee tax, you know, a poo tax, a wee tax, a tax. You know, somehow that would be, you know, $3.5 million to go into the infrastructure of this town. It'd be awesome. You know, I'd like to see that. You know, you could really have some really impressive, you know, see, there's still rubbish and stuff. Look at that. I always don't get when you come here why you would even leave your things fall out there, but maybe it's blown out of the bin. But, hey, do you guys mind me asking you a question or two?
Yes,
Is that all right? It's just for our local thing. You guys are visitors from out of town. Where are you from?
Denmark.
Where are you from?
We're from Denmark.
Oh, Denmark. Aha. We're sort of doing a story on, you know, sort of Byron Bay and sort of trying to get some extra funds from visitors if we could. Would you pay like a $2 tax that went towards providing parks and for people to pick up rubbish and stuff like that, or would you think that was an impost on you?
No, wouldn't be a problem.
You wouldn't mind?
No, not at all.
See? You'd tell our councils and our state government that. $2 isn't much, is it?
No.
Yeah, there you go. The boys will pay it. Would you take your pants off? No, sorry. It's a joke. No cougar. I don't think they have cougars in Denmark. But anyway, you know, you look at like mining companies, they have to pay for the impact they have on small communities. You go into any country town and a mining company is nearby or is there, they'll have put huge amounts of infrastructure into the town to compensate. So how do we capture money from the tourism industry to compensate community? In the end, it's going to be really good for tourism. Happy community means happy tourists. I mean, how often do you get the shits with tourists? Not really nice. They're here clogging up the bloody thing, going, taking your parks an hour to wait for a coffee, get RSI from flipping the bird, and then I take $20, take their money. Happy to take the money, but God, wish they'd go away. And long-term community, because you know what? After all, this isn't just a destination. This is home.